everyone? Welcome back to the Ref Bump. This is episode 3. My name is Codd Sinclair, along with Jeffrey Long, also known as Jeff the Hitman Hall, also known as the purist of Podcast World Order. Jeff, how are you feeling right now, buddy?
Hello. I am feeling great, Codd. How about yourself, brother?
Hey, man. You know what? We're feeling good. It's gonna be a big week for our country as a whole. Today is a big day because it's Martin Luther King Day. So we're gonna preach some unity on today's show, because the show we're taking a look at is WWF Royal Rumble 2000. So let's put ourselves in the 2000 mindset here. All right. 24 days before this show, we're looking forward to Y2K. We're thinking, satellites falling from the sky, computers exploding in our own homes, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria, and it turns to midnight and everything is fine.
In hindsight, they were off. It's actually 2021, but yes.
Yeah, no joke. But this show ultimately has one of my favorite non-Royal Rumble matches of all time. So when we get to it, I'm going to mark really hard, but we'll cross the bridge when we get there. But I'm super excited for this, so we'll jump right into it. First match, we have Kurt Angle versus a mystery opponent. This was I can remember this as a kid. I didn't know who it was going to be because I didn't used to watch ECW. But do you remember this as a kid?
I do. Fortunately, my dad is a mark as well. So it's just kind of in our family blood, family heirloom, if you will. And I knew this just because of I watched ECW, and I believe we did a review on it here on the show. I believe because you had Taz being outed first in the three-way dance from Awesome and Tanaka, right? If memory serves me correct.
Correct.
Yeah, so I knew that because my dad was, blown away by it. And again, this is right at the turn of dirt sheets are there, and the internet is in its infancy. Dial up. So yeah, some people knew, some people didn't, but I mean, it was just absolutely crazy to see Taz in a WWF wrestling ring.
Yeah. It was looking back at my notes here. ECW Anarchy Rules, 1999. So not too far before this show. But yeah, you hear, you hear the music. You see, 13 flat flash on the screen. It's Taz. And hindsight, looking at it, he's coming down to the ring. Obviously looks like $1 million. This was a huge pop. I forgot how hard. Well, first of all, forgot to mention this before we jumped into this. This is one of the Madison Square Garden shows. So obviously Hammerstein Ballroom, right up the road, Philly. So definitely his neck of the woods. But he came out and crowd popped super hard for him. So you're thinking, it'll be a good showing. Everybody will get their stuff in, Maybe Angle wins Smoz. No, this is an absolute squash. And you know what? Kurt doing the right thing.
And if I can also jump on this as well, we've said this a million times on this podcast, on this show. Just again, looking at the wrestling fans and looking at the crowd, it's. I'm not saying this is the height of wrestling forever, but this is a height of wrestling that we'll never ever see again, and we just won't. One, it's a different time period. Wrestling is different now. The fans are different now, but just the way these fans are just rabid about wrestling and everything that goes with it is just absolutely amazing. And we'll get into some things later in the show, which my wife was watching, and she was like, "You watch this when you were a kid?" And I said, "Yeah, times were different, but yeah, again, it just goes to show you that wrestling again probably won't ever get to this heights, and that's fine. But the fan back then, the fan experience with kids and families and everybody under the sun from 9 to 92, we're just watching wrestling.
A little bit of Burl Ives there.
Yeah.
But Taz does finish the job at 3 minutes and 16 seconds. It's cool to note here though. Kurt Angle was undefeated up to this point, so for Kurt Angle to do the job here, that's even more of a notch on his belt. And we've said this before, how badly they really just screwed Taz over here.
Yes.
Because his run after this, and it was really the loss to Triple H, I think, on the one episode.
Imagine that.
Imagine getting the golden shovel out for this one, but and there has been conversation before, since then, that there is a regret of booking Triple H to go over Taz. So hindsight's always 2020.
This match was squash, and it was what it was. But I think when you go to look back, and we've said this before, Kurt Angle is so good on the mic, in ring. He may be one of the most underrated guys, just work wise. He's so good. Charisma. I mean, there isn't anything that he didn't have. And we go back and we watch these older shows, and I forgot about the 3 eyes, and it popped me so bad. It popped me so hard, Codd, when I had forgot about him. So it's always good going down memory lane and seeing this stuff.
Integrity.
Yeah. Kurt Angle is $1 million. It almost sucks because, well, it does suck. Some guys you could take, Angle could have been an NWA champ. He could have wrestled in the territories, and he could, if his career started yesterday, he could just do everything you needed him to do.
Yeah. As he showed at the end of his WWE run when he shockingly decided to jump ship to TNA.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously it's a little ways down the road. But straight into our next card, or our next match. It is a tables match. No titles on the line, no anything of that nature. Just a tables match. And we have the Hardy Boys versus the Dudley Boys. This is just spot after spot, and this was what people wanted at the time, and it was great. And the thing with this match leading up to the TLC match that we would eventually get, the story is there, and I think that's what a lot of the gimmick matches in today's wrestling in 2021 and even 2020 and in the past couple of years, we have talked on the podcast in length. Shows like TLC, when there's no story attached to it, it loses why we had this in the first place.
I agree with you 100%. You do things a certain way for so long that you almost actually forget why you do them. And I think that's where we're at with some of this stuff. We're doing these spots because that's what we're supposed to do. Well, yeah, but there's also a story that should go with it. And I think they told a good story, the Hardys and the Dudleys on this show. And also, again, you don't forget, I didn't forget. But again, going back watching some of these older shows, man, some of these chair shots to the head. I mean, man, Jeff hit Bubba, and we're so far removed from it now that we just haven't, we don't see it anymore. Again, we're still the old guard, Cod, but we
Mhm.
just haven't seen it in so long. And I was watching it and I was like, dear Lord, whew, man.
Um, it's funny that you say that because I just did a quick count on the 1999 WWF title match between The Rock and Mankind,
Ugh.
and it's just so brutal, but at the same time, it's just beautiful art,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
it was good. It was good when it lasted.
Uh,
Um,
I agree 100%. And you know our motto on this show. Some people, again, I'd say this all the time. People tend to forget that this is an actual job. Like we enjoy it, and we're marks, but this is an actual job. So again, imagine, hey, showing up to the stadium or showing up to the arena. Hey, Mick, what's going on, man? Nothing, man. How you doing? I'm good. So tonight, Rock's he's gonna handcuff you. He's gonna hit you in the head 25 times with a chair. Okay. It's just, like we forget that it is a business and it's a job and it's one we love, but boy, man, it just makes you think sometimes. That's all I'm saying.
yeah. But I enjoyed this match. The finish, is that Matt gets off of the table in time, and they've already made their way through the crowd, and now they're on the entranceway. Devon is on the table. Jeff's as high as probably you can go at the time. Does a swanton bomb off of the entranceway through Devon on the table to win. Um, something of note here: the Dudleys at this point had only been in WWF for a handful of months. They had just jumped ship in August, and at times you go back and watch their ECW stuff, and it looks like either they're outperforming who they're in the ring with, or it just didn't seem like at times they meshed with a tag team because they weren't to their level. Um, this is a match where I think you can watch and be like, this is what we could have gotten in ECW had we paired them with more competent tag teams.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep.
Um, but yeah, I mean, solid, tag match here. I'm giving it a 2 count. This is one of the more underrated matches on this card, though, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
All right, on to the I guess the next segment.
Yes.
So we get a Royal Rumble swimsuit contest. One of the Attitude Era staples.
Oh, 2000.
Hey, let me tell you. So we have all of your participants: Harry, Jackie, Luna, okay, Ivory, BB, and the cat. Um, Obviously, we're not gonna dive too much into this one, but we will get into the probably the best part of this segment. And when I mean the best, I mean the absolute worst. Um, May Young, old crazy as a cat, May Young comes out as a late entrant.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly exposes herself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I, I I don't know why this was even an idea.
Okay, so hear me out. Hear me out. Again, we are not condoning this. You have to realize too. This is 21 years now. 21 years old.
Holy smokes! Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And hindsight's always 2020 or 2021 in this case. So unfortunately, this is a microcosm of society in the world at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, this is a business and people earn paychecks. And would I want my aunt, grandmother out there doing that? No. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, they didn't make Mae Young do it, I guess. So the way I thought in a vacuum, I thought this was good. Not good, but I thought it was kind of cool. Just in the sense of you thought you were going to get the young, the pretty, you know what I'm saying? Like you just thought that they were going to roll out here and you were like going to get lucky.
Yeah.
And you didn't. And WWF swerved you with, hey, you're actually going to get Mae Young, you know, which, you know, so just on that merit alone, I thought that angle was funny and, you know, and different. But, you know, I guess in totality, yes, I understand that it is not
Yeah.
funny and nobody should be out there doing that.
Yeah. For me, it was kind of just a throwaway. But
Oh, yeah.
I feel like though you had to have something it's kind of like a palate cleanser. I don't want to say a palate cleanser because I mean obviously, but after the tables match, and then we're jumping right in to match after match after match. There's got to be a break somewhere. There's got to be a filler. Obviously, I've already said hindsight's 2020. So let's move on.
Yeah. And Jerry the King Lawler was just unchained. I mean, just carte blanche to do and say whatever he wanted to.
Is insufferable, man. I tell you.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the triple threat match for the WWF Intercontinental Championship as your co-defending champions, Chris Jericho and Chyna take on Hardcore Holly. I'm probably going to be in the minority here. I dislike these matches. I'm not a fan, and we had Camille on the podcast last year, and she spoke avidly about intergender matches, and there's no believability there, and I'm on board with her because all of the intergender Chyna matches that I've watched have been super underwhelming. The strikes that she's throwing aren't believable to me. And I know I might get some heat for that. But I kind of found this storyline though to be comical though. Between Jericho and Chyna. Obviously Jericho is gold. Obviously why they're the intercontinental champions. But I thought again this was just kind of a throwaway match. I feel like they could have done more. What did you think?
I agree with you. I think in the Jericho Chyna, all their stuff was actually really, really good and entertaining. With their but the stuff during the lead up to this, and then like the promos that they were cutting, like all that stuff was funny because again it's Jericho, and Chyna wasn't bad either.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm with you, Codd. I mean, I intergender wrestling isn't my deal. Again, if you like that type of stuff, that's it's fine. This is America. Like, watch what you want, like what you like. I'm not going to knock you. But this match is, like you said. I mean, it's there. I guess it wasn't terrible. Like it could have been worse. It wasn't terrible. But I'm not a fan of intergender wrestling. That's not like tag team. 1-1, and then one person tags in. Like that type of deal's fine. But yeah.
Yeah. But I think the call of the match, though, Chyna tries to put tries for a Walls of Jericho, and they call it the Great Wall of China.
Yes.
Oh God. But obviously Jericho breaks it up. Lion Salt, which is supposed to be a signature move, but I guess we couldn't put the walls on Chyna for God knows what reason.
Who knows?
But breaks it up. He gets the win. I mean, I'll give it a 1 count. It was fine for what it was. I'm just glad that I don't have to watch it anymore.
Yeah, again, I'm not just not setting anybody set the world on fire. But again, I mean, watching it in totality, it could have been worse. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah. So transitioning, our next match on the card is for the WWF Tag Team Championships. It is the New Age Outlaws, composed of Billy Gunn and the Road Dogg, um, defending against the Acolytes, Bradshaw and Farouk. Um, I I'm giving this a no count. I didn't see a purpose to this at all. Um, it looked like it was going to be a squash at first, and then um, you get a ref bump. Ugh. We get a X Pac run in. Um, Billy Gunn gets a famouser, and it only lasted 2.5 minutes. Um, so, and now saying that, um, doing the research, this was clipped about 5 minutes due to time constraints. Um, I don't know why. I looked for about a half hour um, because I really didn't care that much. I didn't want to see 5 more minutes from what I got, honestly. And um, I thought for the time, um, you know, Jesse James, Billy Gunn, they're fine. But in hindsight, their work wasn't anything special.
I think this is a part. This is part of this Triple H and the Click and these guys having a stranglehold over wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's probably not popular opinion because everybody loves Triple H. And again, I don't dislike Triple H, but I'm also for calling things what they are, and I think we'll get into this later, but yeah, this is just guys going out there kind of doing their own little shtick and, wham bam, like for whatever reason, they're on a time constraint and then they're out of there.
Yeah.
But had it been somebody else, I feel like it would be different, but whatever, I guess.
Yeah, but I didn't care. I mean, zero,
Nope.
zero count in my eyes. I'm glad it's over. And on to the best match on this card, hands down, without a doubt. Um, it is um, it is the street fight for the WWF Championship. We get the champion Triple H defending against Cactus Jack. Um, this is one of the best non-Rumble Royal Rumble matches of all time. Um, there's story, there's violence, there's in-ring, um, there's back and forth. Um, I, there's not one negative thing I can say about this match. So I'll pass it to Jeff because I'm gonna keep going.
Okay. So again, this is the Triple H going over everybody and running the wrestling world on WWE's terms. But I will agree with you, Codd. This stirred up a lot of old emotions because my brother was a Triple H guy and I was not. And I forgot. I mean, I didn't forget, but Stephanie and Triple H and McMahon, Helmsley. That was really good. This match was good. It had everything, all the twists and turns you needed. I'm going to have to hear Pat Lily's mouth about Triple H putting people over, which we'll save that for another day and another argument. You also have, Foley going to Cactus Jack, which everybody can understand he's top dog if you're breaking down Dude Love and Mankind and all that. But this match was really good. I mean, I can't knock it. Again, Trips is going to be Trips, but yeah, this match was really, really good. It had all the twists and turns you needed. It had the ups and downs. It had the storytelling. It had the violence. It had some good wrestling. It had it all.
Yeah. And to kind of backtrack just a little bit. So Mick Foley kind of, he kind of baited Triple H into a street fight. Um, because they had this running gag on TV where Mankind was scared to face Triple H, and then he said, "Oh, it was street fight," and then he agreed, and then taking off the mask, taking off the tattered white shirt, and then he said, "Oh, you're getting Mick Foley, but you're not getting Mankind. You're Cactus Jack." And I remember as a kid, I lost it.
Yeah.
I loved every minute of that. And then just to lead to this, also, this is Triple H's best theme. Okay, his theme in the late '90s, early 2000s, best Triple H theme.
Codd, you are correct. Time to hit him with that Triple H.
Hey,
So good.
I can't remember X amount of times when like I'd be walking to the bus stop or something, or I'd be like walking home from school, and I just
Oh,
you dealing with
yeah.
the Triple H, and
Yeah.
I swear there were probably people staring out the windows like, "What the hell is this kid doing?"
Aga
I did not care because I was the hottest.
Oh, my brother and Jerry Montgomery getting written up in middle school for crotch chops. You know what I mean? Just telling people to suck it.
Yeah, but first of all, props to Triple H because he bleeds like a stuffed pig in his match.
He does. He does.
I think the big point in this match is that we get to a point eventually where Triple H finds the handcuffs. We already made mention of the Royal Rumble match from last year or from the previous year, and getting Cactus Jack getting handcuffed. Everybody thinks it's going to be the same thing. But then out of nowhere, The Rock out of nowhere comes out and one of the most devastating chair shots on the night. Cracks Triple H right in the head. And then a police officer out of nowhere comes out and just unlocks it. Okay, here you go. I guess keep hitting each other with barbed wire bats.
I mean, why not? Hell, why not?
Yeah. So, and then we get the pile driver spot where the table doesn't break. Ugh, that was rough. Then we get the thumbtacks. Yeah, it really goes from here, and this is when you're on the edge of your seat. This is how you bought your ticket to get into the show tonight. He takes a backdrop into the tacks, walks into a pedigree onto the tacks.
Yep.
And that finishes it. Triple H eventually, takes his back body drop onto the tacks, and he's shaking, and they get him out of the ring and on, to the stretcher, and obviously we got to flip the stretcher over, get him back. Just top to bottom, one of the better street fights that WWE has ever done. This is a solid 3 count for me. Obviously, I'm a mark for this. Like I said a moment ago or two, Triple H from start to finish, I wouldn't say overshadowed Cactus Jack, but definitely earned respect, I think, as far as his work rate in this match.
Yeah, and this was back in the time where people were booked so well and believable where once it got to the match, you really didn't know what was going to happen. Like now we can always look on paper and this guy's going over, that guy's going. You know what I mean? We just know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's swerves, but just I don't know if it was just whatever kayfabe was left for. It was just booking an emotion that was still in wrestling, where you didn't know. I mean, okay, yeah, I mean, like you thought Triple H was going to win, but you didn't know. I mean, he's wrestling Cactus Jack, so there is no, anything could happen. And I just think that that's lacking in wrestling now. But I agree with you. This match was great. It was absolutely great.
All right. Now it's the second reason you bought your ticket tonight. It's the Royal Rumble match. The Rock has been pitching promos the entire night.
Yep.
So I think we know where this is going. But we're gonna try and keep up with this as much as possible. So intervals are 90 seconds. I think anything over that, when you get to 2 minutes, that's enough.
Yeah.
Way too much. So we get Mr. D'Lo Brown, the newest Impact Wrestling commentator, out at number 1, and we get Grandmaster Sexay at number 2. We get Mosh at number 3. So this is where you kind of have to kind of take that step back, and because we get Kai and Tai run-ins throughout this entire match. We get posse run-ins from this entire match. So this is the first of the Kai and Tai run-ins. They get tossed. And it's funny, and it's funny until later in the match when it's.
Yeah, well, it's still funny and it's still tasteful. You know what I mean? Like it's not well, I guess it is a bit that they're dragging out, but it was a quick. This was a quick bit. The first couple ones were, at least I'll say that.
Yeah. We get Christian at number 4, and then Rikishi at number 5. Rikishi clears everybody out except for Grandmaster Sexay. They have this stare down. Number 6, we get Scotty 2 Hottie. So
I thought this was great.
Oh, I popped so hard.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't, but I thought this was great. So I enjoyed it because instead of when we did our last show, instead of having Diesel or said person just waiting a minute and a half and snarling, just I'm so mad and full of piss and vinegar, I can't wait for the next opponent to come in. Mm-hmm. You actually had you let them do their thing, and again, it was believable because there was nobody else in the ring, so it's not like they're waiting for not that there's 5 guys down, knocked out in the corner, and they had a minute to do their bit, and that was it. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. So runs down to the ring. He's got the sunglasses. He puts them on, and just feels it. And they do their thing. Rikishi tosses them both out, and I think this is what people forget about the Royal Rumble, is that tag teams can eliminate one another and still be tag teams. We don't need to use the Royal Rumble as a platform to split up a tag team, to build a feud, to get further down the road. Unless it's absolutely necessary.
But this is the whole bit of the Royal Rumble, is that anything go, not anything goes, but it's every man for themselves, literally. So, again, now it can be used that way, but it doesn't have to be every single tag team starts to splinter because somebody eliminated somebody from the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. So now, Rikishi's the only man in the ring. Number 7 is the Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman. Not in there for long. He gets tossed, and the crowd is absolutely behind Rikishi right now. It doesn't matter who's coming out next. The crowd is so hot for him, it really doesn't matter.
And again, this is the beauty of this time of wrestling, where everybody just didn't like this one guy. Everybody didn't like that one guy. You had your guy, you loved him, or your girl, you loved her. or circumstances, prohibit, may Uncle Mo may change momentum. And next thing you know, like, you didn't know you wanted Rikishi to run the Royal Rumble, but you know what? Hell, we're here, and why not?
Mm-hmm.
That happens.
So then number 8, we get Viscera. Rikishi gets a couple of kicks in on him and pushes him out. Big Boss Man at number 9. And it's such good storytelling. and it goes right with his character work. And I know we've gushed about his early work in WCW, his earlier work in WWF. The Big Boss Man is one of those guys that is just, I think, so well rounded that sometimes I think he's forgotten about.
Well, he is forgotten about, and Ray Traylor, and he's also a Cornette guy, and he also was in the business only for what was it, like 6 months to a year, and then Dusty stuck him with Cornette as his bodyguard, with the Midnights, and he just kind of, and back in those days that didn't happen. It's just that he was that damn good. Mm-hmm. And he just understood the business, and he just was a natural. And I remember listening to Cornette, and they said one time he threw a drop kick, and they were like, hold on, kid, like, slow down. The business was different back then, but slow down, because you can't be throwing a drop kick to Dusty Rhodes. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta earn your stripes. But yeah, but it just goes to show you how good he was and how much a mind he was for the business.
Yeah. So we get the British Bulldog here at number 11. We get Gangrel at number 12. This is the spot. We get the Kai Tai run in. Taka hits his head on the mat. Jerry Lawler again, absolutely insufferable for this.
Yeah.
It's literally for the next handful of guys coming out. He's like, oh, can we just see that again? Can we see it again? And
he's unchained.
Yeah, every time he hits his head, it's like woohoo! Literally is just the worst.
Yep.
But moving on though, Edge is number 13. I popped for this next one. Number 14, Mr. Bob Backlund.
Oh, Bob.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is the point in the match, and I know I said it on the last Royal Rumble. Why don't when we get enough people eliminate the biggest threat? That's what they did.
Yep.
So everybody gets to Rikishi. They dump him. The building probably shook with all the boos that were coming.
Yep. He was over, boy. Real over.
Yeah, 100%. So number 15, we have Chris Jericho. A huge pop here. Obviously, now that with everybody else who's left in the ring, this is probably the next fan favorite to, win it all.
Yeah.
So he drop kicks Bob Backlund out of the match. He doesn't go to the back. He goes right through the crowd and out.
Sure does.
I'm pretty sure this was during the time that he was trying to run for office as well.
Yeah, I would agree. And for a while there, he was kind of a funny staple of the Rumble. You know what I mean? Like he was almost, you knew he was coming, and you kind of just enjoyed to see him.
Yeah. I'm trying to look really quick. Yeah. In 2000, he unsuccessfully ran for a Connecticut seat in Congress.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Crazy how the world works, right? So we are at number 16 is Crash Holly. Number 17 is China. Her and Jericho eliminate each other. Stupid. Number 8 is Farouk. Now we get the Main Street Posse run in. They charge the ring. They're trying to put the beat down on him. Bossman gets the upper hand, eliminates Farouk. I think this was also at the tail end of Farouk's in-ring career. As far as working these longer matches, he was only in the ring for 18 seconds. And he would go on to wrestle for a couple more years. But looking at where the company was and the star power that they had, he was just kind of fallen by the wayside, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, but at that time, I mean, he was getting up there though, because it's 2000, and I mean, he's been rocking and rolling since late 80s, early 90s. So,
yeah,
talking 20 plus years at that point, 22, 23, 20. You know what I mean? Also, a lot of football miles on that Florida State football miles on that body as well.
Unfortunately, yeah. But yeah, and so we do that, and then number 19 is Road Dogg, and this is a strategy that has been taken and has been used for many years to follow, and that is grab the bottom rope and hold on.
Yep.
and it's always funny because just a couple years prior to this, we had Jerry the King Lawler who hid under the ring for a half hour.
He sure did.
Yeah. I think it was 96.
Yeah, 96, 97.
Because
probably 96. Yeah.
Because 95 was the 30-minute Rumble.
Yeah.
So number 20, we get Al Snow. Road Dogg gets out from his corner long enough to eliminate the British Bulldog, and then goes right back. Number 21 is Val Venus, goes right for Test. And I guess this was supposed to be a Funaki, or not a Funaki, a Kaientai run-in once more. But at this point, we find out that we get Taka, who is being rushed to the hospital. And so it's just Funaki who comes in and just gets dumped.
Yep.
We get the most attitude era name for this whole group. We get Prince Albert at number 22. Between that and our next guy, Edge gets eliminated by Val Venus.
Also, sorry to cut you off. Another name that I hadn't just seen and heard of in a while, wrestler. I forgot about. I mean, I didn't forget obviously, but Old Test.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about Old Test. He for me, I thought he was like, great value, Triple H. You know what I mean? Or I mean, I don't know. I just thought that they were, I don't know, 1A and 1B, not skill wise.
Well,
yeah. I just thought
he's right in that. I think he was in the same boat as like a Brian Clark.
Yeah. If Triple H and Edge were together, if they fused, it would be Test.
Oh, you're gonna get Pat all excited. So we get number 23, who is Hardcore Holly, and then number 24, who I would assume at this point is the new favorite to win, and that is The Rock. He tossed the Big Boss Man. Billy Gunn is number 25. Rock at that point throws Crash over.
He's a house of fire for a little bit.
Yeah. Big Show is number 26. So he just debuted. He's been in the company for about a year now. Kind of an underwhelming year.
Well, they didn't. They really know what to do. They really know what to do with him. They really didn't, and it sucks. But at the same time, a guy like that, you either keep him away from the title because once he gets it, how do you take it off of him? You know? So, I mean, I'm not defending WWE, but I don't know. You have to got to tread lightly on that and try to figure out how you're going to attack that.
Yeah. They didn't know how to use him. At first he was like, kind of like the corporate stooge.
Yeah.
That's another, cog in the, in the big stable. So kind of like what he was as far as, his NWO run.
Yeah. The biggest muscle ever.
Yeah. Um, so Test gets eliminated. Gangrel gets eliminated. Number 27 is Bradshaw. And as they did with Farouk, the Mean Street Posse hit the ring, and they get him eliminated. Kane, number 28, gets pyro, gets fire and flames and everything. And this is
red carpet
guy who would eventually get many more title runs as his career would, go on. And I guess probably just a victim of the time as far as getting title shots. But this is kind of where we were kind of merging into, him being just a main event guy.
Yeah.
But he gets in, he throws out Val Venus. Godfather is number 29. Kane eliminates Prince Albert. Another Funaki run-in.
What's left? What's left?
What's left of them? They're all just weeding themselves out. And then number 30 is X-Pac. We get Hardcore Holly eliminated,
which goes to show, like, again, which goes back to my thing. So X-Pac's 30. I wonder why.
I believe
backstage politics.
But again, it does go back to it does go back to booking your friends.
Yep.
So all 30 men are in. We get, like I said, Al Snow eliminating Hardcore Holly, Big Show eliminating the Godfather, The Rock eliminating Al Snow. Then we get both of the Outlaws eliminated. So final four now. Oh, four. Kane, The Rock, X-Pac, and The Big Show. Very interesting final four. I think three out of these. I think
belong.
Three of these, yeah. As you would say, as a staple on the show, one of these things is not like
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, one of these things left ain't like the other, Jack.
Yeah, and we get that immediately. Rock throws, and this is the biggest darn near elimination I've ever seen. I felt like if he wouldn't have held on to the top rope, X-Pac would have been in the 5th or 6th row.
Oh yeah.
So this is another Austin-esque elimination from 1997. X-Pac gets eliminated, but the refs are busy on the outside, so he sneaks back in. So X-Pac eliminates Kane. Something just doesn't sit.
Yeah. Yes. I'm telling you, like, it'd be funny. No, I mean, you just eliminate Kane. I don't like him. It's fine. Who said that? Triple H.
Don't worry. We would find that out here in a couple years anyway.
Yeah.
So Big Show eliminates Pac, and then we are down to Rock versus the Big Show. The crowd was super into this. Definitely behind the Rock, and then Big Show would hit a choke slam, and they they would try and boo him out of the building.
I mean, Rock was on another level right now.
Yeah. So, the Big Show going to eliminate The Rock. Rock hangs on to the top rope. Show goes right overboard with him. And The Rock wins. Rock wins the Royal Rumble. So, knowing that now and then seeing all of the replays, the Big Show would go on to complain that The Rock's feet hit before his own. This would be completely ignored outside of the Big Show getting a title shot at Mania anyway. Is that The Rock's feet did hit first. If you've ever seen the replays, if you've ever gone back and watched it, they do show it. His feet clearly hit the floor first, but they just ignore it because The Rock is supposed to win the Rumble.
Well, going back, at first they showed that back angle so you couldn't see. And I was like, okay. And then they show it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, if hold on, you know what I mean? Like, if you saw that footage and he had it in the barrel, I don't know if I would have. I just would have left that alone and be like, oh yeah, well he won. But nope, typical in WWE fashion.
Yeah. But that is the show. Obviously, this would lead to the next month at No Way Out. We would get the Big Show versus The Rock, and this would be the number one contenders match, which surprisingly the Big Show would win. Which is crazy to think. And then the main event of that show would be the retirement match retirement match, as nobody truly retires anymore. Triple H would defeat Cactus Jack inside Hell in a Cell to retire them. And then we would get to WrestleMania 2000, also known as WrestleMania 16. Excuse me. It would be the McMahon in every corner, the four-way elimination match.
That's right. I forgot. Man, I forgot about that.
WrestleMania 2000, which we'll get to at a later date, but it's one of the very few shows where there was only one singles match, and it was a cat fight.
Jeez.
But yeah, there was only one singles match on that entire card. But that's for another day. So top to bottom for this card, I thought it was a great watch. I think top to bottom, it's one of the better Rumbles. I would say top 10, considering everything from like late 2000s into the mid 2010s were all garbage.
Yeah.
But I would solidly... Go ahead.
Well, it has... again, this was around the time where it has a mixture of everything. You have some it's funny, then you have serious wrestling. It's a really good blend of, when people say like, oh well, 30 men and 30 WWE superstars, like, yeah, it was really guys that could wrestle and guys not necessarily just your, I mean, not that they had job guys, but I don't know. It was just jam-packed of actual stars, and it was good.
Yeah, there were a couple of clunkers in there, but myself giving the Rumble match itself a 2 count. I'd give the overall show out of 5 stars, probably about 4 stars out of 5. Of course, the street
That's a,
bumps it up a little bit for me, but the swimsuit thing you can't take into the grading because it wasn't. I mean, it was there for filler, and it was a product of the time.
yeah.
And
Yep.
I mean, other than the tag team title match, I mean, the other matches were pretty passable.
Yeah. I would agree. And the sad thing is if they would have had an actual tag team match, it probably would have been good. You know, if they actually had time to do, whatever they were going to do, that probably would have been good. So,
yeah. Well, that is all for this episode of the Ref Bump. And we hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe to this channel and all of our social media platforms. If you really enjoyed this episode and would like to support us, please check out our Ko-fi page. If you would like updates on what is coming up next for this show or any of my other shows, please feel free to join the Discord. All of these links can be found in the description below. Jeff, where can they find you on social media?
I am at Jeff M Hall 1 on Twitter, and that's pretty much it. I'm low key.
There we go. Next time on the Ref Bump, we are going to be doing a show a little bit more closer to the time. This will be the Royal Rumble 2018. Do you know why this show is significant?
Do I?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Because I'm racking my brain and they're starting to jumble together.
This is the first women's Royal Rumble match.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we started with Unity. We're going to round it off with it. I thought the match was garbage at the time, so I'm kind of excited to go back and watch it and, kind of just, as far as your hindsight goes.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since. So, yeah, it should be good.
Well, with that being said, my name is Codd Sinclair. That is Jeffrey Long. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.